An appreciation for classic style of design was one of the reasons I was very excited about this project. Bill Diddle was the original architect here, and Bill was one of the more underappreciated guys from his era. You know, classic golf courses in and of themselves are meant to be about the strategy of the game, and they're meant to have subtle things that make the look of the golf course and the play of the golf course timeless. Restoring a classical style of design, those are the things that we're focused on.
Well, 12 years ago, when we first started working with Tripp on the master plan, the first rendition of that was really just 6 greens, a few bunkers, a few tee boxes. Eventually rolled into a more of a full-blown master plan renovation of the entire golf course. We really let Tripp Davis have at it and just be free in his design and utilizing all the areas that previously were unused.
Characteristics of a Diddle course that we really tried to bring into Northwood, really 4 different things. The first was the quality of the routing and adhering to that in a lot of ways, because this is an extraordinary piece of property. Clear a few trees and you see how extraordinary it really is. Some of the trees here had hidden the quality of the land. One element was, as closely associated to that, was the way in which you position tees and greens to subtly be impacted by the wind. And for a guy that only did 2 golf courses in this wind belt of Wichita and Dallas, he really understood how the wind impacted the play of the game, and so we were cognizant of that. The other was restoring a bunker style that was consistent with some of the work he had done early in his career. Diddle was one of the guys that really got started in the 1920s and did a lot of really interesting work during that time frame. The paradigm that most golf course architects had during that time frame was much more frugal, and so style was not as big a factor. And then with the greens, the one characteristic he had that dominated a lot of his greens was a spine somewhere that ran through the green, and really created a lot of strategic interest because you had to be on the right angle to get to the right portion of the green.
With this particular project, no doubt it has exceeded our expectations. So that any time that you have a golf course that has hosted a major championship such as ours, one of the things we want to do is preserve a lot of that history, but also we're looking forward to this next chapter, the new era here at Northwood Club. And so some of the things that we really wanted to do with this project was bring back a lot of the classic elements of an original Bill Diddle design. Mr. Diddle designed a lot of golf courses during the golden age, and he worked very late into his career with his golf course architecture. One of the other things that we did is really resurrect a lot of his natural features in his green design. Bill Diddle liked a lot of falling edges, rolling edges, gentle contours, and something that really presents a lot of challenge for the player, but has a lot of interesting movement as well.
When it comes to a renovation, there are some architects that want to come in and do it their way. And that's not what Northwood was looking for, and that's really what you don't want to do. You want to preserve that originality. I think that's very important. To take a classic golf course such as this, to keep this course in its original mindset, so to speak, while tinkering with it to make it a little more modern, if you will, takes a special person, and Tripp is certainly one that's known for being able to do that and be very successful at it.
Yeah, with the restoration of the creek that intersects the property, it's obviously a big undertaking. We worked with the Army Corps of Engineers to get the approval and the permitting for that. But we wanted to look very natural, and we tried to use the limestone from the area to create a more natural look. We have a lot of outcroppings right now of the white rock. Taking that creek back to more of a natural state, there'll be a lot of plants that go back into that are native to this area. So it'll look like it's been there forever.
There was a point prior to this restoration project where we were getting a little bit overgrown. We were over-treed, so to speak, and it really presented a lot of challenges just from the standpoint of needing to position your golf ball correctly throughout the golf course in order to even have a shot to approach a green. And doing this particular project, we've given the player now more opportunity to place their ball off the tee, but also strategically place their second shots in and around the green complexes.
The setup in and of itself can create a challenge difference. Being able to raise the rough heights, being able to get fairways a little firmer so they roll out a little more, getting greens to where they're firmer and faster. Those are the kind of things we can do with setup. Now design needs to accentuate those or work in concert with those things. So the ability to have tees where you can move it up to make it shorter, given the wind directions. The width of fairways. What we've done here is allowed the fairways to stay wide but not diminish the strategic interest for the better players, because if you're on the wrong side of the fairway, it's going to be tough to get to some of the more difficult pin locations. But for the average player, there's always going to be an angle to get it up into the middle of the green.
I think we came out with an excellent plan, and now to see it actually coming to fruition and seeing that all of the ideas that we had are now incorporated in this project, even going beyond our expectations of finding some new areas that we could expand and utilize land that we once didn't, has made this just a really phenomenal golf course now.
There's no doubt that with all of the work that we've done up to this point, that this golf course is going to be recognized as one of the absolute best, not only in our region, but certainly in the country going forward.